freely.
You couldn't have done it without me. Here you go, Master! Azure Dragon, White Tiger, less cards! Watch this!
Attack!
Yeah! Until everything burns to ashes! Forever triumphant! Victory is inevitable! You couldn't have done it without me.
What are you doing here? Look, if I get into trouble, it's my problem. I don't want to drag you into it.
Is this really the time to talk about that?
Fine. Let's smash these metal cans first. Then we can talk.
Someone else, nice job!
Detonate!
Until everything burns to ashes! That was sneaky!
Watch your head!
Forever triumph! Victory is inevitable!
Bust. Or maybe I'll take it all!
Set to the seas of pain! Attack detected!
All in.
The fear that will not fear. You need to get stronger.
Watch your head!
I won't do.
Hit, hit, hit! Yeah! Forever triumphant! Victory is inevitable! Oh, I get it! Azure Dragon, White Tiger, less cards! Watch this! Fight to land! Never hesitate!
Attack!
The fear that will not fear. I won't do.
No dirty Watch your head!
Forever triumphant! Victory is inevitable!
That was the last of them. Thank you for helping me out. This place is heavily guarded, but there's nothing but arumatons. Where is the arsenal? Seems like not even those craftsmen know where the arsenal is. At this rate, we won't find anything. And Grandpa might take me away before I can do anything. You're not really here to help me. You're here to stop me, right?
Of course I'm here to stop you. I can't just stand there and watch you get into trouble.
You have a kind soul. But if you want to stop me, you'll have to prove yourself. You probably think I'm being impulsive and unreasonable, right?
Well, I just feel like you're too obsessed with cursed swords. So you are self-aware after all.
Hey! I'm not always like this. It's all because of that cursed sword.
Why don't you just tell me everything?
Look. I owe you an explanation. But this isn't the best place to talk. We need to find somewhere else. Let me be clear, though. I'm still pretty riled up. This is just a temporary break. I already told you about Guin. The sword that was returned during the ceremony. It's a cursed sword, with a heliobus inside. And Hongguang, the swordsmith who forged it, is my father. I rarely mention his name to anyone other than Grandpa. Maybe, like you said, I've been avoiding having to talk about him. But as long as my mission to hunt down cursed swords continues, it's impossible to avoid the topic forever. For some reason, I feel like I can open up to you. Honestly, I don't remember much about him. All I know is that the Flame Wheel Forge used to be a bustling place, with people from all over coming to get one of his swords. They called him the greatest master craftsman since Yingxing. I didn't catch all the details, but I do remember seeing him forge those amazing swords, while the visitors watched with smiles on their faces. I used to believe that craftsmen brought happiness to others. The swords crafted by the Flame Wheel Forge are famed across the stars. They possess exceptional sharpness and invincibility. With these legendary weapons, even ordinary people can become skilled warriors, capable of overcoming the most formidable opponents. But then, he became obsessed with becoming a famed swordsmith, and started crossing all sorts of lines. He forged cursed swords that should never exist. And all those people who desired those twisted swords started flooding into the palace. However, just like Grandpa said, those who excel with the sword will eventually suffer by it. The palace is overrun with visitors from afar. Some left empty-handed. Others got swords that didn't fulfill their desires. And some even resorted to stealing. And in the midst of all the chaos my father created, he ended up being stabbed by one of the swords he forged. It was so sudden and unexpected. Everything went silent for a moment. All I could hear was the sound of bones breaking and blood pouring out. I was frozen in place, unable to move. It was only when my mother pushed me away from the deadly swing of the cursed sword that I managed to escape. I don't remember much after that, except for the pounding of my heart and the sound of my own gasps of breath. I could hear the smiths in the Flame Wheel Forge shouting, "Run away, Yunli!" And the screams of agony. My tears wouldn't stop, and I couldn't see anything. I kept gasping for air until I collapsed in a pool of blood. If General Huaiyan hadn't arrived in time, I probably wouldn't be here talking to you now. After that, General Huaiyan took me in and treated me like his own granddaughter. To me, he is 100 times better than my sinful father. He taught me forging and swordsmanship. Hongguang paid for his sins, but his troubled legacy must not go unchecked. According to the records, he forged a total of 1,382 heliobus cursed swords, and 182 of them had unique designs. When I joined the Flame Wheel Forge for training, I made a vow to hunt down all those cursed swords. So far, I found 312 of them. And Guin will be my 313th. Like all the other cursed swords, I'll separate it from the heliobus. Then, I'll melt it down and make it part of the Blade of Forged Remnants. I've said my piece now. Even though it'll be tough for Grandpa, I still have to melt down the sword.
But the delegation calls it the Sword of Heroes. I think you should talk to General Huaiyan about it.
So, you're saying, even though Grandpa knew it was a cursed sword, he still chose it to be a prize because he thought it wouldn't cause any trouble? No. No matter how I think about it, something is definitely off. Grandpa didn't tell me anything about the ceremony. He must be hiding something. Besides, after our argument today, you want me to go back and talk to him now? No way. At least not today. Maybe tomorrow. Somehow, after talking to you, I feel like I've cooled off a bit. Well, I'll have an honest conversation with Grandpa tomorrow. And I won't take any action against Guin until he gives me his reasons.
Don't forget to apologize to General Huaiyan.
Yeah. I shouldn't have done that in a public place. Anyway, thank you. We'll catch up tomorrow.
I should go back to the Palace of Astrum and tell General Huaiyan what happened at the Artisanship Commission.
Let me stay here a little longer in this body.
My granddaughter didn't cause any trouble, did she, young man?
You explain what happened in detail, and Huaiyan's nervous expression eases a little.
Sorry for all this trouble. Yunli told you quite a bit. Now it's time for this old man to tell my side of the story. Guang was my beloved disciple. A rare genius not seen in the Pyrogyre Forge since Yingxing. However, talent can sometimes be a curse. He had an unusual fervor for forging, and he dreamed of forging a sword with self-awareness that surpassed that of humans. He believed it would make warriors invincible without any training. According to him, while weapons of mass destruction like Zhu-Ming flames and alchemical arrows can destroy many enemies, true victory lies with soldiers who fearlessly fight, ready to lay their lives on the line. Usually, Xianzhou swordsmiths infuse a basic level of awareness into their swords to make them easier to wield. But even then, soldiers need to experience countless battles to overcome fear and sharpen their instincts.
So he thought of using heliobi to absorb emotions.
By infusing heliobi into swords, he managed to forge weapons that could grant their wielders strength and valor, and even make decisions for them. However, weapons are different from regular tools. They are meant to kill, plain and simple. After countless battles, all the anger, fear, and bloodlust are soaked up by the heliobi within the swords. The soldiers wielding them not only gain strength, but they also become consumed by the malice. turning them into puppets possessed by the swords. No matter how noble Hongguang's intentions were, those weapons, soaked in blood, turned into cursed swords eventually. Later, Outworlders got wind of what he was doing and encouraged him to keep forging cursed swords. They came up with all sorts of reasons, from taking back their kingdoms to slaying demons. And you know what happened next. That massacre took her parents' lives, and the lives of many craftsmen in the Flame Wheel Forge. Yunli managed to survive, but she couldn't escape the horrors of that day.
That's why you didn't want her to see that sword.
Yes. I don't want her to spend her whole life trapped under her father's shadow. She doesn't deserve to carry the weight of his mistakes. Despite her vow to hunt down and wipe out all cursed swords, fulfilling that vow requires immense effort. Traversing the starry seas in search of the swords is like finding a needle in a haystack. And to reclaim those swords, she has to duel the bloodthirsty wielders, teetering on the edge of life and death. She has taken back over 300 cursed swords, and has suffered the same number of fatal wounds. I took her in to give her a chance at a normal childhood, not to send her on a sword-hunting journey. Even if she manages to melt down all the cursed swords one day, what will she do with her life after?
Does that sword really contain a Heliobus?
Huaiyan is indeed one of the cursed swords forged by Hongguang. Very few swordsmiths could use Heliobi as forging material, and Hongguang was one of them. His attempt came at a terrible cost.
Yunli plans to talk to you tomorrow.
I thought this sword could be an opportunity. I wanted to tell her that her father wasn't all evil, that even the man she resents so much managed to forge a true sword of heroes. I also wanted to find a chance to tell her about the history and origin of this sword, but not during the ceremony. As you saw, it wasn't a good time. I've instructed the Artisanship Commission to keep the sword safe in the arsenal. If you have any doubts, feel free to ask the people involved.
Master Gongshu, there's something I want to talk with you about. General Huaiyan gave the Luofu a sword called Guin.
Don't you worry. General Huaiyan has already conferred his instructions. Right. I heard from my apprentices that a young lady with a sword barged into the Artisanship Commission. That's General Huaiyan's granddaughter, right? Is she here to chat or kidnap me?
She already promised me that she wouldn't take Guin until we've confirmed the situation.
What? She's coming to steal the sword? My nerves can't take much more of this. The Knight of Beauty just escorted the sword to the Artisanship Commission. It is currently in the armory without a chance for compromise or mishaps. You just relax. When I have time, I want to hear that girl tell me why she tried to steal the blade.
Since my granddaughter mentioned talking to me tomorrow, I'll be waiting for her. By the way, you watched over her for quite some time. You must be exhausted, aren't you?
Pretty lady like her never gets tiring.
I'll be counting on you then.
Time to go back and find that class-skipping March 7th.
The shining golden side. Let your inner spark ignite. Find a treasure, a growing bright.